All right, welcome back, guys. Today, we're going to talk about the Matrix, okay? And no, I'm not trying to be another Andrew Tate. However, he is correct in the fact that I truly believe society has created a script and a system that is meant to keep us average, right? Society has trained us and tells us what we should believe, be angry about, enjoy, what we should consider fun, what we should consider a good use of our time, and the list goes on and on, all right? I also agree with Andrew Tate in the sense that the only way to escape the matrix or the system, whatever you want to call it, is to get rich, okay? And it's not about the things you can buy, it's about the freedom that money provides, right? However, before you can escape the system financially and physically, you have to escape it mentally and you have to be aware of what the system is, okay? And that's what today's episode is going to be about, all right? We're going to discuss the system that society is keeping us in and the script that it wants us to follow. So without further ado, let's get into it. All right, first things first here. What is the script? Okay, what's the script society wants us to follow? Well, the basic life script, right, is that you got to go to school. Okay, you got to get good grades while you're there so you can get into a good college. Okay, and while you're at that college, you got to make sure you party a lot and you have a lot of fun while you can, because guess what? After that, now you got to go get that internship or that shitty starting position at some corporate job making 60K a year, right? You get your little 30-minute lunch break, right? Now you got to work your way up the corporate ladder so that maybe in like 10 years you can make 150 a year, okay? And then you retire when you're 65, and now you can finally enjoy your life when you're all old and you're all wrinkly and you have zero energy, okay? That's a life script, all right? And some of us are so brainwashed that they just think that's life. That is just what it is, okay? And they're so closed-minded and they're so stuck in the system that they don't think that there's another way to live their life, okay? But there is, all right? And that's why I'm here, just like many others, all right? I'm following in their footsteps to try and break you guys out of it, okay? So let's talk about the system. All right, let's talk about education. I'm going to take a very heavy shot at college here. The system tells us we have to go to college. So do our parents and so do our grandparents. And in their defense, 50 years ago, college did lead to a successful life. Your degree would actually get you a decently high-paying job, and that job could actually afford you a house and a nice car and give you the ability to support a family. But in 2026, that is no longer the case. All right, the fact is what you learn in college now is mostly meaningless, and the things that you can learn in college that are meaningful, you can learn online for free. Also, almost everything you learn in college, AI can now do for you, okay? All college does is train people to be good little employees who do what their bosses say and push some paper, okay? That's all it's there for. And it's like that for a reason, because the system or the matrix or whatever you want to call it doesn't want more free thinkers and it doesn't want more rich people, okay? It wants average people and it needs employees to keep it functioning, okay? And aside from the fact that college is a matrix scam, all right, another issue with college is that the jobs that a degree are supposed to help you get are now almost impossible to get, right? So many people have college degrees that they are essentially meaningless. The degree has completely lost its value, right? I mean, there are people with pretty good degrees out there with 100K in student debt who can't even get a job at a fucking Target, right? In fact, not only do I think college is meaningless, I think college puts you 4 years behind. And I can say that with honesty because I went to college and I feel pretty behind right now, okay? I believe that 4 years should be spent learning high income skills. All right, because like I said, college isn't going to teach you how to make money. It's going to teach you how to be an employee. All right, imagine 4 years of learning sales or content creation or freelance business upscaling or simply spending 4 years learning how to utilize AI. You would probably touch your first million by 22. Okay, the world is changing. AI is taking jobs. You either adapt or you're going to stay stuck in the system. All right, moving on. All right, now we got the entertainment trap. Everything that is meant to entertain us is purposefully shoved down our throats by the system in order to keep us distracted, to keep us from aspiring for a better life. Shows, movies, scrolling, video games, even sports, right? It's purposefully there to distract us. And as a society, we have grown so accustomed to constant entertainment, we have been trained that we must be entertained. And while sure, most modern forms of entertainment are okay in moderation, most people don't moderate it, right? And a lot of people spend their entire free time seeking entertainment. I mean, how many people do you know that get home from their meaningless jobs and spend the rest of the evening just watching TV or playing video games, right? Now, imagine if those people got home from work and actually did something meaningful, like, I don't know, work on a second source of income or go to the gym or both, right? We would have a lot of very powerful people. But like I said, the system has trained us to think that, oh, we worked hard today. Let's go home and spend 4 hours doing absolutely nothing. All right. And it's honestly crazy to me. Like, time is going to pass regardless. You either pass that time being sucked into meaningless entertainment or you spend that time building a better life. To me, it's a pretty simple choice. And some of you are probably thinking, oh, well, my job is stressful and TV and video games, it's how I relax and shut my mind off. Okay. I need my time to detach. And that's exactly what the system wants you to think. You don't need to relax and you don't need to detach from the world. You need to become better and you need to become unstoppable. Okay. Moving on. All right. This is an important section. We're going to talk about politics. Okay. So many people spend every waking moment of their day full of anger and full of hatred and full of negativity over politics. And so many people have created entire personalities around hating certain political figures. The reality is, Trump and Gavin Newsom and all of these people that people like to complain about are not the reason that your life sucks, but society has trained us to think that they do. You are the only person in control of your quality of life. So stop letting what these people say and do affect you on such an emotional level. You are giving the Matrix exactly what it wants. The more time you spend angry at the things that Trump says or the fraud that Newsom commits, the more distracted you are going to be. And like I said, the system wants us distracted, all right? And look, I get it. In the end of the day, all these people suck. They really do. Both sides of the aisle, right? There are no good politicians, in my opinion, but it's time we start taking some personal accountability and stop blaming politics for everything. I truly believe our entire political environment and the hatred that each side feels for each other has been created by society on purpose in order to keep us fighting, keep us angry, and to keep us distracted in order to keep people from building and becoming great. All right. So my advice, stay informed, but eliminate emotion and hatred from politics. Stop letting it consume and distract you from taking your life into your own hands and becoming a rich and powerful individual despite everything that the media claims is happening, okay? Understand that politics is a distraction created by the system, all right? Moving on. All right, the single income trap. The system wants us to be completely consumed by one job, one 9 to 5, and one paycheck. Most people spend their entire lives trying to increase the value of one's salary, and they work insane hours a day to do so. All right, we need to start looking at money differently. It's 2026. There are hundreds of ways to make money online and to make passive income, right? You got to start building options, side businesses, personal brands, freelancing, investing, right? You need to start taking alternative forms of income more seriously because AI is just going to keep taking more jobs. And there are very, very few salaries out there that are actually going to pay for a high quality of life, right? My other point here, money should not be based on the amount of time you put in. It should be a reflection of the effort that you put in and the dollar value of what you do, right? If you work in sales like me, you might understand this, right? A day in my life, I mean, shit, I wake up at 8 a.m., I go to the gym, come home, eat some lunch, and then I go carpool with the boys out to Hood to go knock on doors for 4 hours, all right? And I make more money than most people that have college degrees working 9 to 5s right now. All right. Sales is actually a meme, bro. It's a joke and it's awesome. And everyone should do sales for at least a few years. All right. It would completely change your life. All right. But that's aside from the point here. Right. The point here is to stop thinking that your time is worth an hourly paycheck or a salary. The money that you make should be a direct reflection of the effort that you put into the things that you do. All right. Start focusing on the sources of income that society tells you not to do. Right. The system is going to tell you that you need stability, but stable jobs have zero upside and zero reflection of the effort that you put into it. Right. Find career choices that have unlimited financial upside and put maximum effort into it, and it will change your life. All right, we're going to end today's episode with a challenge. I need you to pretend like nothing exists. College doesn't exist. Stable jobs don't exist, right? 9 to 5s, corporate life, none of it exists. The only thing that exists is you and high income paths. All right, what would you build? What skills would you learn? What kind of man would you become? And what would you want your life to look like? Because chances are the life that you want is way more achievable than you think. But you have to mentally escape the system and you have to throw away the script that you were given when you were born. All right. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in next week's episode.